Hi, my name's Craig. Back in either September or October of 2002, I believe, I was presented a book. This one. The Jewish Publication Society Hebrew English Tanakh 1999 Student Edition. Now, over the last 11 and a half years or so, I've spent a considerable amount of time within the pages of this book. I've spent a lot of time in the 5 books of Moses, but particularly the books of Psalms and Proverbs. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to read through the book of Proverbs, which is broken up into 31 books, 31 chapters. Out of everything in this book, and this is the second time I'm doing an introduction, so it's not going to come out the same way, right? But out of everything in this book, the book of Proverbs, to me, has, I think, how do I describe it? I guess I would say that it has hit me harder than any other portion of this book. If you think of the Garden of Eden and the forbidden fruit from which Adam and Eve were commanded not to eat, right? It was the tree of right and wrong, the tree of knowledge. And I've reached the conclusion that the book of Proverbs is, as translated in this book, this specific Bible, the 39 books of the Old Testament, this would be the equivalent of the fruit of the tree of knowledge. The book of Proverbs is the book of right and wrong. It's the book of here's what right is, here's what wrong is, here's what righteousness is, here's what wickedness is. Here are the characteristics of the righteous, here are the characteristics of the wicked. And it's extreme to the right in terms of righteousness, it's extreme to the left. Righteousness, wickedness. Righteousness, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the whole book, as I said before, right, something to the effect of, right, it's worth 1 trillion times its weight in gold. And I love Psalms. There are great portions in the 5 books of Moses, right? All throughout here, there's great stuff. But Proverbs, proverbs, as in professional verbs, I mean, this entire book is proof of the true living God. No human being in 1 million years, and 1 million people at 1 million typewriters for 1 million years, thinking as hard as they couldn't come up with this. And Proverbs is, for lack of a better way of putting it, as intense as it gets. It is pure. If it's a meal, it's all the meat. I've said meat and potatoes, but it is the absolute essence of this book. Everything boils down. If you're in a situation in life as I am, and you think about the nature of God, this would be, Proverbs, I think, would be at the very center of who God is, how God views men and women, but how he views righteousness and how he views wickedness, defines righteous attributes, wicked attributes, right? Just like separating, right, parting the Red Sea, right? Here's righteousness, here's wickedness. And I used the example of an AHA video, right? Bouncing off that wall, bouncing off this wall, banging off this wall, banging off that wall, right? Righteousness, wickedness, right? The tree of knowledge. What's right? What's wrong? What's good? What's bad? What's black? What's white? What's up? What's down? The book of Proverbs, from pages 1599 to 1655. So we've got 56 pages here of fruit. And upon my first go through, right, going through the book of Proverbs, it was like looking into a mirror that you really didn't want to look into. And I wasn't even a really bad person. Right? The whole book is a mirror, the whole book is a light. But not really. Proverbs is a mirror. Right? If you can look into this book, if you can look at the book of Proverbs straight at it and not get a little bit scared, well, you're a better person than me. You're a better person than me. Right? Congratulations to you. Because I've gone through this thing and I've tried to, right, change my ways and improve my life and do good things. And I wasn't even I wasn't even a wicked person. Right? But if you can look straight at this book like I do, straight at these words, straight at these concepts, straight at all this stuff like I do, and not get just a little bit scared, I would think that, well, like I said, then congratulations. You're just a better person than me. So what I'm going to do is start with Proverbs 1, and hopefully, if I can stick to it like I did last time, this is the second time going through. The first time I did this, the camera was backwards. Now I've corrected that. So what I'm going to do is overwrite the old ones that I have and read through this again. Will I ever get done with 31? I don't know. I'd like to think so. But we're going to start with 1 and work our way through and see what happens. But again, in my opinion, when Eve picked that, right, fruit off the tree and she took a bite and she gave it to her husband, to Adam, and he took a bite, I think of the book of Proverbs in those terms, because to me this is the book of right and wrong, the tree of knowledge. Here's the fruit. Let's eat. Proverbs 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. For learning wisdom and discipline, for understanding words of discernment, for acquiring the discipline for success, righteousness, justice, and equity, for endowing the simple with shrewdness, the young with knowledge and foresight. The wise man, hearing them, will gain more wisdom. The discerning man will learn to be adroit. For understanding proverb and epigram, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. My son, heed the discipline of your father, and do not forsake the instruction of your mother, for they are a graceful wreath upon your head, a necklace about your throat. My son, if sinners entice you, do not yield. If they say, come with us, let us set an ambush to shed blood. Let us lie in wait for the innocent, without cause. Like Sheol, let us swallow them alive, whole like those who go down into the pit. We shall obtain every precious treasure. We shall fill our homes with loot. Throw in your lot with us. We shall all have a common purse. My son, do not set out with them. Keep your feet from their path. For their feet run to evil. They hurry to shed blood. In the eyes of every winged creature, the outspread net means nothing. But they lie in ambush for their own blood. They lie in wait for their own lives. Such is the fate of all who pursue unjust gain. It takes the life of its possessor. Wisdom cries aloud in the streets, raises her voice in the squares. At the head of the busy streets she calls, at the entrance of the gates, in the city she speaks out. How long will you simple ones love simplicity? You scoffers be eager to scoff. You dullards hate knowledge. You are indifferent to my rebuke. I will now speak my mind to you, and let you know my thoughts. Since you refused me when I called, and paid no heed when I extended my hand, you spurned all my advice, and would not hear my rebuke. I will laugh at your calamity, and mock when terror comes upon you. When terror comes like a disaster, and calamity arrives like a whirlwind, when trouble and distress come upon you, then they shall call me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me, but not find me. Because they hated knowledge, and did not choose fear of the Lord, they refused my advice, and disdained all my rebukes. They shall eat the fruit of their ways and have their fill of their own counsels. The tranquility of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of dullards will destroy them. But he who listens to me will dwell in safety, untroubled by the terror of misfortune.